Tapos the rest, dito na tayo sa torret.
Alright, let's jump straight into the Guild League event happening over in the subfield. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty hyped for this one. Why? Well, I finally got the chance to take my brand new level 2 Orange Tranquil Mind for a spin, and I also slapped on that Hydra Card I spent ages grinding for in Byalan. So yeah, I was eager to see if all that farming paid off. So, for anyone who hasn't really dived into this mode yet, here's the deal. The subfield isn't about getting kills. You're not here for the PvP scoreboard. Instead, you're taking down MVPs to give your team buffs, and you're running around grabbing spirit ores to repair those towers in the main field. Now, here's something that gives your guild a massive edge: good communication. Seriously, if your team is on the same page and calling out smart plays, it can totally turn the tide in your favor. But here's the catch. There are two battlefields happening at the same time. So, you really need to pay attention to which one your shot caller is talking about. Otherwise, you might end up following orders that were meant for someone else, and that's just a waste of time. At the very start of the match, it's super important to stick together. Don't go running off in different directions. You want everyone grouped up at first to get a feel for what the enemy is doing. Check their formation, see where they're pushing, that kind of thing. Once you've got that read, then you can start splitting off based on the plan. But yeah, early game? Stay close, stay coordinated. So, in this particular match, things were going our way. We were pushing the enemy team back hard, all the way to their spawn point. And honestly, trapping them there was a game changer. Why? Because it gave our gatherers complete freedom to roam around the subfield without any pressure. As for my tracking build, yeah, nothing new to see here. It's pretty much the same as it was back then. No surprises, no big discoveries. So instead of dwelling on that, let's get back on track to what I'm actually supposed to be doing in this mode. My real job here is simple: support the main battlefield. And that means two things: grabbing spirit ores and taking down MVPs. At first, I was just running around like, okay, where are these ores? But, nothing. They weren't spawning yet. It took me a bit to realize there's a timing to it. Either you wait for the right moment, or you wait for someone else to trigger the spawn. Normally, if the enemies aren't trapped in their own base, they're gonna make your life miserable. They'll either grab the spirit ores before you even get close, straight up delete you from the map, or at the very least, be a huge nuisance just to waste your time. But honestly, that's not even a concern right now. We've got them completely cornered, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So for now, it's smooth sailing for us. The spirit ores and MVPs aren't even spawning yet. So what's really happening at the start? It feels like the first few minutes are all about map control. You're basically fighting for positioning, trying to push the enemy back so that when the resources do finally show up, your team has the easier access. It's like claiming your turf before the real action even begins. Whoever controls the map early on gets the advantage when the ores start dropping. And that brings us back to the clashes. I'm a bit confused. My tracking build keeps missing, and I don't really get why. I know the enemies have Kyrie Elazone from their priest, but my damage should be more than enough to break through that shield and still deal some damage on top of it. But nope, just misses. Over and over. And it's not like my dex is low. I pumped everything into dex already. Anyway, while all that was happening, I noticed the statue score had already gone up a bit. Someone must have delivered some spirit ores already, which means they're finally spawning. So at least that's good news. But instead of rushing off to gather spirit ores right away, I got a little sidetracked. I'll admit, I stayed behind and enjoyed the clashes for a bit. Normally, most damage I see is around 1000 per skill, with normal hits landing between 200 to 300. But when my tracking skill actually lands, it hits for 2300. Pretty big difference, right? But I still can't tell if it's actually worth it. I feel like I need more time to experiment with it. But then again, Will it even be that useful when the advanced job changes come out? Honestly, even at this level, I can't seem to make it work consistently. So after a while, I got my fill of the fights and decided to get back to the real objective. As I started looking for spirit ores again, I spotted a knight holding one of those glowing orbs. That was my green light. The ores are finally here. Now let's talk strategy real quick. From what I understand, the statues and watchtowers are basically your lifelines. The statues show that percentage number on your screen, and you can heal them all the way back to 100%. The watchtowers though? They're a bit more complicated. You can only repair them if they're still standing. Once they're completely destroyed, that number drops permanently. You can't bring it back. I'm honestly curious what happens if all of them get wiped out. But for the statues, if that hits 0, it's game over, plain and simple. This whole experience made me realize just how much movement speed matters in this mode. You have to be fast. So, I went into my build and tweaked it. I swapped out my rifle because, to be honest, it disables my blink ability, and that blink is a lifesaver for zipping back to base with those ores. I switched back to my handgun so I could use Fallen Angel again, and I made sure to equip my Fleetfoot skill and my Rapid Retreat crystal. Gotta go fast, right? One thing that stressed me out was watching the watchtower drop to 7. It felt like no matter how fast I gathered, the damage in the main field was just eating away at our defenses. Luckily, my team was putting up a great fight, blocking enemies from leaving their spawn, which made my job way easier. Even when a stray assassin tried to chase me down, I was just too quick for them. Escape was a breeze, but imagine how tough this would be if the field was swarming with enemies. That's why Fallen Angel is a must-have for my gathering playstyle. I noticed the center of the map was getting pretty intense. Which makes sense. That's where the big fights are supposed to happen. But luckily for me, our team was so dominant that the subfield was basically a free-for-all for gathering. Honestly, playing this way has me rethinking my builds. For this specific job, the Desperado setup feels way more useful than my usual tracking build. If I'm just trying to escape and gather, I don't need the tracking damage. What really blew my mind, though, was the lack of enemies gathering. I kept looking at the scoreboard, and I felt like we were barely holding on, but when I really focused on repairing, I saw our numbers were actually matching theirs. Weird, right? Anyway, despite the chaos, I checked the leaderboard and saw my name up there with the Supply Vanguard title. That felt pretty awesome, and honestly, this whole experience convinced me that I need to finally set up a dedicated preset for quick swapping. But hey, that's a story for another video. For now, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you sticking around. Catch you in the next one. Have you ever had a sleepless night trying to grind in your game, only for your computer to stop responding because of all the stress? Presenting UGPhone, a cloud-based phone service that lets you play your game even when your computer is turned off. You can even run multiple cloud phones at the same time, whether you have multiple character accounts or different games grinding all together. The download link is in the description. Go to the website and use this code to get a big discount on your cloud phone.